It's Renell, right? Oh, hey, Internet! This week we sit down with Tyler Renee, the creator of the motivational role-playing game Habit RPG. We'll ask which gamification system he used to motivate himself to create a gamification. We also highlight the best place to watch pandas online right now, so stay tuned for that. And a number of people are using DuckDuckGo to avoid being spied on, but does it actually help? We'll find out at 11. No, now, whatever. My name's Justin Pott, and I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and you're listening to Technophilia. Keep doing that. Our guest today, as I said, is Tyler, the creator of Habit RPG. How are you doing, Tyler?
Very well, thank you, sir.
Thanks for joining us today. You're in Cambridge, Massachusetts, right?
Yep. I'm out of Kendall, MIT. There's a little spot called the Cambridge Innovation Center co-working spot on the 15th floor. It's really nice.
I have to say I'm disappointed because you sound nothing like the guys from Car Talk. I'm assuming you're not native.
No, I'm from San Luis Obispo, California originally.
Oh, okay.
And then I lived in Utah and San Francisco, so I'm a West Coaster.
You're a West Coast guy living on the East Coast. That's weird that a technology person from the West Coast moves to the East Coast.
Originally chased a girl out here, and and a job, and neither of them are part of my life right now currently. So I may be moving back to San Francisco, actually.
Cool. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but for now, let me also introduce the man who is with us today from the UK, as always, Mr. James Bruce. How's it going, James?
Not good. It's so hot. It's like the hottest day of the year in England.
Oh, okay. It's time for our weekly temperature check. How hot is it there, dude?
How many Celsius?
30 degrees Celsius.
This is like our thing. We check the temperature. 22?
30 degrees Celsius. What are you doing? 22?
30
degrees. That's like as hot as it gets, isn't it?
Okay.
86
cooled
is pretty
down.
hot.
It has cooled down to that this week, and we are all very thankful for it here in Boulder. So, yeah.
I'm going to die with much more of this.
There's no weather in the UK.
Look, I'm burning.
Also with
Can't
me
you see
today,
my face? Ugh.
from Connecticut, is Mr. Dave LeClaire. How's it going, Dave?
I think it's about 95 Fahrenheit here, so I think I got James beat, right?
95 is, yeah, that's about 10 degrees
yeah.
in Connecticut today. So there you go. Weather check for the week.
Weatherfilio podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Where we talk about the weather. Just a quick reminder, next week we will be joined by Joe and Ethan from Poppy 3D, a Kickstarter project that makes your iPhone into a 3D camera and a kind of like a cool way to view 3D images as well. So stay tuned for that. But for now, let's get to our quick little sponsored announcement here. Technophilia this week is brought to you by Bitdefender. If you think Macs don't catch viruses, think again. Although Macs are traditionally believed to be less prone to cybercriminal attacks, recent developments have shown that malware writers are concentrating more on finding vulnerabilities in macOS and popular macOS applications. Stay safe with Bitdefender antivirus for Mac. Now,
And it works on mountain lions, so if you got the new stuff, get it on there and don't think you're safe, because you're not.
Just because you're not.
I'm watching you.
James writes Mac viruses.
That's what he does in his spare time.
That's
He
what he
writes
does.
Mac viruses so he can tell people that there aren't Mac viruses so that they'll download his Mac viruses.
There you go. Yeah, that's why he always says that. So
A twisted
defend yourself.
web he weaves.
Defend yourself from James with Bitdefender. Let's get to Make Use of News, the part of the show where we talk to you about things that happen in technology that you can make use of right now. Here's something that you could make use of before and then couldn't. Google Hangouts. You could make phone calls with it in Gmail and pretty much anywhere else you could use Google Chat before, but then they merged it into Hangouts. Well, free phone calls to anywhere in North America is back, and it doesn't even matter where you are. So, James, you could prank call Americans if you wanted to now. I'm sure you're psyched about that. Yeah.
Can we
Canadians
call
well.
someone? Let's call someone.
We could add someone to this conversation right now. I'm not inclined to. You want to call my mom or something?
When did it leave? Because I've been
Dave's
using.
mom.
Let's call Dave.
It's called Dave's mom.
She's at work.
Light in the comments wants to know who the handsome blonde guy is, and says that you're cute. So there you go.
He's the mobile developer for Habit. I told him to troll the chat room.
Nice.
He's watching. He's watching the podcast.
Yeah.
Nice. As if we don't have enough trolls.
Yeah. That's all we have in the comments is trolls, but we love all of you except
Like
for
Dirk Diggler.
Dirk Diggler. Is that a friend of yours as well, Tyler?
I've never heard of Dirk Diggler.
That's got to be
There
Dave.
you go. Dave's cuter, Shirley. Yeah, that's true. That's well, no, I'm not making any calls here. Twitter fixed some stuff they should have fixed ages ago. I don't know if you've ever gotten a DM on your phone, checked it, read it, and then got back to your computer only to find that you have another DM, so you excitedly go to check it, only to find out that it's the DM you already checked on your phone. It seemed like a problem that should have been fixed in 2001 before Twitter was even created, but it's been there until last week, so that's fixed now. Congratulations, Twitter. You solved the problem people have been complaining about longer than you've existed. The Mac app also shows you retweets and favorites and all that good stuff now. So yeah, I guess they're...
use DMs? I haven't got a DM in like a year and a half.
I have used them 5 times to give someone my email address.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Twitter, yeah. And then you can continue the conversation there. But I guess some people use it like instead of IM, apparently. Have you ever used it in your life, Tyler?
I use it very frequently, actually. I use it anytime I want to take a conversation offline because it's getting too noisy.
Get it? Yeah, okay. Understood, because if someone is following both you and the person you're talking to, that takes up their timeline completely, and a DM is a way to take that offline.
What happened to email, guys?
You have to follow the person who you want to DM, and then I probably don't want to follow them. So that kind of
defeats the purpose for you.
Yeah, I don't want to see their tweets. That just makes more noise in my life. I don't care about the other people's lives who are hearing my noise. That's not my problem.
For more social media expertise, be sure to check out makeuseof.com, where Dave writes 3 times a week.
But not about social media.
I can show you how to use Twitter properly.
Yeah, don't. That's James's method.
Yeah, James, you said 2 tweets out this week, and they're both for giveaways to free crap. So I'm going to stop telling people on the show to follow. Don't follow James. It's a waste of your time.
They're not even giveaways. They're just me getting free stuff. You're not going to get anything.
Anyways, moving right along to the interview part of the show, I thought I would say that my brain is stupid. It thinks it can get done tomorrow what I need to do today, and that I can do this afternoon what I need to do this morning. It puts everything off. It's why present me always resents past me, even as present me dumps work on future me. Like I said, stupid, but motivation's a curious thing. My stupid brain is perfectly willing to take Link across Hyrule Field 20 times to deliver masks, but won't take out the trash, which is why I'm glad I found Habit RPG, which tries to turn the mundane aspects of your life into a video game. It tries to make developing positive habits fun as stupid well. And with me today is Tyler, who created this app. Tyler, thanks, first of all, for making this. I've been using it religiously. I'm sure you've been watching me.
I'm sure I have been watching you. Well, I'll tell you what. Make Use of is a huge website, so I know every time that there's like you have feel goods about the application, write a blog post, I see just the traffic spike.
It just spikes right up, right? Well, that's good, because I didn't actually know that anyone read my articles, so this is positive feedback for me too. Let's get started at the beginning here. Obviously, similar systems to this have existed for a while. We've talked about Epic Win on the show here before, for example. Why did you set out to create your own gamification system, Tyler?
Okay, so the story is, I didn't know the term gamification. I was a big life hacker junkie, and I think one of their articles was about like improving your habits and tracking your habits, because tracking equals improving. The more you track your finances with Mint.com, track your weight with all these weight trackers, and you're more likely to improve it. And it had this like color-coded spreadsheet idea. And they're like, have cells every time you do a habit or daily, right? Dailies is what we'll talk about later. Every time you do a daily, plus 1, the cell, it'll turn green over time, it'll turn red if you're doing poorly. And it's just something to track. And I was like, I'm a web developer, why am I doing this in Google Spreadsheets, which I was at the time, so I converted it to a web application just for myself. And I had no idea these other systems existed, specifically Epic Win. So we have a lot of competitors, a ton of competitors now.
Yeah.
But Epic Win
yours is notably the only open source one.
Right.
That I know of.
Oh, there is one called Life RPG, and I didn't know that.
Oh, really? Okay.
And there's one called Life RPG on the it's a Windows desktop application that's open source, but it's a little bit less. It's a lot less similar to our application. I think it more tracks your desktop usage. Like if you open up a video game, you lose points, kind of thing.
Got it.
It's a really cool application. Epic Win is the most similar to ours.
Okay.
And that was when I discovered it, because I was already I had already completed Habit RPG, and I discovered Epic Win, and I was like, oh my God, this thing has been around all this time. It's an iPhone-only application, so I wouldn't have been able to use it anyway because I'm Android. Yeah. But then I discovered this world of gamification, after I released the application that I fit into. I had no idea.
So it's not like you set out to make a gamification system. You just discovered that gamification systems existed after you made one.
Yeah, because everyone was like, oh, this is a cool gamification app. I was like, what? What is this app?
There's a word for that, okay.
And then I discovered this world, right? And that's
okay, so that's interesting. You say it started just as a way to track your habits. And it was... How did that look? Was it just basically what the dailies column in Habit RPG is now?
It was dailies, to-dos. It was originally called Habit Store. You buy the rewards. You buy the rewards that you earn. So I was like, I drink a lot of beer and coffee. I play a lot of video games, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tell myself I earn them by having a green column all the way down. I was like, well, that's not very quantitative. I'm going to add points. Well, I'm an RPG player. It's going to be experience and gold. And then I was like, might as well put an avatar up top if I'm going to do all this. And I used browser quests. So there's this online HTML5 JavaScript MMORPG. Really cool showcase of HTML5's capabilities, built by Mozilla, but not truly an MMO. Not a lot of people play it.
You invited Habit RPG users to crash the party last week, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. It's so they have this Creative Commons icon set, and we use just all their art, and that's where all the art came from. And then we started extending it with backer gear and pets and mounts and all these new setups. They contacted me recently and said, we'd love to cross-pollinate, re-pull everything that you guys have designed back into our set, which is freaking awesome.
I love it when open source projects can collaborate like that. That's cool.
Right.
So you evolve it into a game.
Yep.
And then at some point it picks up a lot of steam. And you said you were a Lifehacker junkie. I believe it was Lifehacker who really pushed this into the limelight, right?
They're the ones that destroyed us. So, so what happened was, the Lifehacker came out with an article that said, gamify your life. Pretend like your life is a role-playing game. Track your habits dailies, blah, 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 in this pen and paper thing. And I was like, oh my God, I have to comment. And I commented. I was like, come on, I made this program. It does exactly everything you're saying. And it just wasn't ready for prime time. I was on this crappy server, and tons of bugs in the application.
Oh, but so you left a comment.
I left a comment, and then they immediately wrote. So after the comment, the server went down. So I just was scrambling to save its ass. And immediately after the comment, they wrote a blog post. I was like, that was a successful freaking comment.
A comment on your server. Oh wow! And then they had one with pretty art and everything.
Yeah, they did all this stuff. And Reddit caught steam of this, and they made it. So Reddit and Lifehacker all at once in one day. And I was doing a presentation on Node.js.
If you've got a product that's not ready for prime time, do not leave a comment on Lifehacker.
No,
that's a lesson here.
So I commented in the Reddit section. I was like, "Look, guys, I'm flattered." Look, so they kept saying this thing keeps going down. This is crappy. Like, what a stupid application. And I commented, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I'm flattered that you're bombarding this, but I just don't have I'm a full-time programmer. I don't have the wherewithal to keep up with this. It's an open source application. Somebody, if you want to keep up with it, post it on your own servers, figure this stuff out." Somebody in the Reddit section, well, why don't you make it a Kickstarter project? So I was like, I did.
Oh, that's so great. So you didn't intend to make it a Kickstarter at all. Everything happened organically. And I find that some of the projects that take off best on Kickstarter aren't created to be Kickstarter projects. It just sort of happens almost accidentally. That seems to be the case here, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of Kickstarter, you raised $41,000 of a $25,000 set goal. Were you expecting that kind of support?
No, we were definitely towards the middle section. Looking at projections, we're like, we're not going to make it. What happened was the Kickstarter took off, and I was the only developer. And during the course of the Kickstarter, a ton of people joined the team because it's open source and people started contributing code. Yeah. And then I was, we started this private Google Plus community of all the people that were the primary contributors, and it started to become this big team. So we were all tracking this and trying to get the word out, and it wasn't going to make it. And then I can't remember who it was. There were some really big websites that showcased it, and then it took off, and we made 41, and we were surprised to all hell.
Yeah, it's a pretty big bump. So where's that money been going? What have you been doing?
So what we did was, all the people that were part of primary contributors team, we all decided we were going to work super cheap because 41 turns to 36 after taxes and the fees that they take.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 36 amongst about 18 of us contributors, and so we're like, let's work at like $15 an hour, $20 an hour, and just divvy it up. Everybody go, start tracking hourly, and let's just make this a product.
Okay, so you've been paying contributors to your open source project with this ever since.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And we're at this point we're down to the last dollar, and we're just wrapping up the mobile application. We're going to release that very, very soon. It all it ran its course. It did its thing.
Nice.
So it was fun.
I've been informed in the comments that our newsletter just sent out my article about Habit RPG, so that's going to go out to 100,000 people. So if you leave, we know why. We understand. Is it 500,000? Sorry,
500,000.
Oh my goodness.
Have fun
I'm gonna
with that. Okay.
Sorry, typing.
Sorry, Tyler. Go ahead.
If anybody does have trouble with the production site, I'm working on a load balancer right now, but right now it's not available. You can go to beta.habitrpg. It uses the same production web database, but it has a lot fewer users, so you're going to get a lot less load.
So the RPG goes down, I head over there, and it works very, very well. So what's the favorite feature you've been able to add thanks to that funding?
Yeah, I'll talk about the product. So what it is, it's so I went back to, you said, why don't you Justin's like, why don't you join us on the podcast? Go back and listen to a few of our episodes and see what we're all about.
Yeah.
And I obviously listened to the one where you guys talk about Habit RPG. And you were like, Habit RPG is so cool. And then James,
I was just talking about
I don't know about this, man. This is before I realized James is the veritable Simon Cowell.
Yes, you gotta have a grumpy British guy who just gets crap. It's what makes.
I don't remember it being this cool. Sorry, maybe I looked at it in a really early stage.
Well, in your defense, so a lot of people who come to Habit RPG think it's a to-do list, and it's not. It sucks at being a to-do list. It's terrible. In fact, I rarely use it for to-dos.
I use it for to-dos I want to do right now, like the day.
Yes. Yeah, I track I use Pomodoro, and so I put what I'm going to do in the Pomodoro break into my to-dos column.
Oh, okay.
But I use Workflowy for my actual to-do tracking, which I'll talk about in the picks section later. But it sucks at to-dos. What it is, it's meant to build good habits. It's the more you do your good habits, like going to the gym and eating healthy food, you get experience and gold. You level up your character. You get weapons and armor. And you compete with your friends. If you do poorly, you die and you lose like an armor piece. You lose all your gold. You lose hit points slowly over time.
Your dying sucks.
Dying sucks. And you join a party, you join a group of your friends, you see all their avatars and their stats, and it becomes a social accountability partnership program where you're competing with your friends.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who hasn't leveled up in like a couple weeks, and I'm just, what's up, dude? What's going on? Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can share my desktop. I realize
there's a screen share button at the left there. There you go.
Can you see? Okay, so these are all my friends. This is Bailey. I don't know how familiar.
She's the town crier.
Justin, she's the town crier. She was an $800 Kickstarter backer.
I didn't know there was a sword past the golden sword.
There isn't. only if you're a backer that past a certain tier.
Oh, okay.
So she's got all the gear. She's also an NPC in the video game.
Nice.
You can see whenever like a new feature comes out, she pops up and you click on her. Anyway, but she's always in the tavern. Everybody knows her by name. They're like, hey, somebody did fan art of her.
Yeah,
she's extremely popular. So this is my list. So I have all the habits over here, all my dailies, to-dos, and rewards. But yeah, so every time, so as you can see, I'm level 3, and I don't have any gear.
Well, this is amazing. Yeah, you are level 3. Is it because you keep dying? What's going on here? What's going on?
I die all the time. What I have found Habit is not very good at is when you're in a sprint. Like if you're during finals week, people you can like go to the inn and rest in the inn, and you're no longer playing basically. until you check out. So people during finals week will go to the inn, and I might as well. But like working on habit is like 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I don't have time to go to the gym like I think I do, and all these things. So
that's just hilarious. This is amazing. You're too busy working on habit to keep your habits up. Okay.
So as you can see, habit is actually doing okay.
Yeah, you've got a lot of red habits too.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But I did prepare for the Technophilia podcast.
There you go. That's the only one that mattered today. Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna end the screen share, and it's gonna break.
So is the service still picking up new users pretty regularly at this point?
Yeah, we got about 60K, and it gets. I don't know how many we get every week or so.
Okay.
8,000 active. Or so.
8,000 active, 60K total. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not as much as one would think.
Oh, that's a lot, though. I mean, it's not.
Where would you like to be in terms of users? Like 4 to 6 months from now, where would you like to be?
That's a good question. I guess I don't think of it in terms of that. What I would like the ideal situation for me is I can step away from coding it and just act as kind of the GitHub pull request gatekeeper. I want it to get to the point where it's its own project managed by a community, and I'm no longer like the corner piece. You know what I mean?
It's gotten to something that you've distributed the money from the Kickstarter instead of using it to pay yourself.
Right.
You're acting in such a way that a community is likely to pop up around it, I think.
Exactly. And I hope that happens. Like, I like the idea of this product. I believe in the product. It may or may not make money. I would rather it distribute itself, just like you said, such that it's a completely community-run project. The art has gotten to that point. The community, like tutorials and content sections, have gotten to that point. The coding has not. The coding is still completely me.
So you keep alluding subtly to the fact that our pets are going to do something someday.
Yes. Okay. So
what are they going to do?
Fun features. Going back to screen share. So as you complete your tasks, especially the dailies that accrue streaks, the more you do them in a row, they get really large streaks. And the
streaks are nice. The streaks keep me pushing. Yeah.
Combined, so the redder the task, the more points you get for it. And this is not to incentivize you to be crappy at your task. This is to incentivize you to focus on your shortcomings and not on what you're good at. So I can take a break on emails. I really need to get this Form 1040 ES done, right? And streaks improve the points. And if I complete less, if this was incomplete and I completed it, I just triggered a bug. And I had a lot of streak stack and redness. I have a high chance of getting a random drop. And one of the random drops is an egg, which you can hatch into these pets up here. This is actually the day rollover. You're going to see me die. I haven't refreshed it this morning yet, so.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. All the dailies that I missed, I just lost 40 hit points.
Whoa.
Oh.
And they reset. Yeah, I got a lot of dailies.
Yeah, a lot of red dailies. Those things kill you.
So I did go to bed last.
I had one orange one, and now I'm looking at you, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So I did go to bed last night at 11:30. So here we go. Perfect. It triggered the hatched. I just got a random drop. It's the desert hatching potion. And over here you've got your inventory. These are all of your eggs that you find, and these are the hatching potions that you find. And here's the stable, all of the pets that you've hatched. So what could I hatch right now? I've got a fox egg and...
Desert hatching potion. I think the video might be a little behind.
I have to do badly to hatch an egg.
No.
No.
Because
if you have a streak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A streak.
So if you do a daily again and again and again, it counts how many days in a row you've done it. And the longer your streak, the more likely you are to get stuff.
What's the difference between a positive habit and a daily?
This is interesting.
Yeah, dailies and habits is kind of a blurred line. It's this very big point of contention, actually, in the community. Habits are things you do multiple times. Like they're little one-off bits. Like every time I eat crap food, I knock myself down, right? But it's not. I could potentially make a daily of do a full day of no crap food. So there's kind of a blurred line between the two. But I do like every time I take the stairs, that's a habit. Every time I take the elevator, that's a negative habit. Every time I smoke a cigarette, that's a negative habit.
Even though you smoke a pipe in the promo video for the product.
Oh yeah, I should have brought that to today's podcast.
So you can do a positive habit more than once.
Yes, you can do a positive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Dailies are just once a day. So he's got the productivity one there, which is I'm assuming tied to the browser plugin.
Yeah. There's the Chrome extension. I don't know why it's not showing up.
You're not in Chrome.
I am in Chrome. There's a Chrome extension which tracks every time you put in bad websites and good websites. Every time you go to Reddit, for 10 minutes at a time you lose hit points, and every time you go to Pivotal Tracker, Asana, or Gmail or something, you gain experience and gold. It's got some other plugins, like it's got Google Tasks integration, workflowy, and Asana integration, stuff like that. But pets,
pets.
So the pets eventually, GitHub, Pixel Art, and the mounts. So you feed them, which is also a random drop. But let me see if I can show you guys.
So there's going to be more random drops, and you're going to be able to feed them to your pets.
Yep.
And then I can finally ride my fox.
Here we go.
Sweet.
So this
we got some exclusive art coming up here. Here we go.
Yeah. So these are all the mounts. So your little pets turn into these big guys that you ride on, and they're going to give you some sort of stat boost. I think it's going to be agility, and agility is going to give you a critical hit chance against your tasks, and a luck. It's
awesome.
It has been said that Habit RPG has jumped the shark.
Has it? Jumped the shark. Okay. I think the moment you jumped the shark is when you agreed. Just me. I've got a question from the comments here from Knife Maker. So you don't want to upset this guy. How are you planning to monetize?
So all the drops can be bought. What we're going to do is we're going to make them so that later on there's going to be a quest system, and you can get special gear as a result of achieving the quest. We don't want to make it so you can shortcut the system, so things that are going to boost your stats can't be bought. Only things that kind of start the process. So you can buy the quest scroll, but you can't buy the finishing gear. You can buy the
and the quest scroll could be dropped conceivably, but if you want to start a quest now, you can pay. That seems fair to me. Yeah. Is there anything else?
Yes, we're going to target teachers who want to do competition within the classroom. So there's going to be private guilds and challenges. The challenges system is going to be like a template that everybody subscribes to, template set of tasks that everybody subscribes to.
You're going to need the server to be much more stable before you can really push the teachers. Yeah. Yes.
So here's the information about that. We were going to do a big upgrade using the framework we're using is a Node.js. I don't know how familiar. Do we have any coders amongst y'all?
Node.js.
Yeah, I just wrote about Node. I'm just getting into it now. It's awesome.
Sweet. Yeah. So it's a JavaScript end-to-end framework called Derby, Derby.js, and it uses this database thing called Racer, and it's a very alpha product. It was a 0.3 release. That's what we're using. We attempted an upgrade to a 0.5 release. Which fixed all of the major stability bugs. Number one, the memory leak. Number two, the duplication of operations, which a lot of people are getting multiple drops at a time, or they join a party and they show up 20 times in the party. They're really bad bugs. Little caveat about Habit RPG: it's very buggy right now.
It's much better than it was, though.
Is it?
As a long-time user, yeah, I think so. Maybe it's just because I've gotten used to the odd things, but
you know the workarounds.
I don't. Maybe I've just made those into habits, but it seems much better to me now. We had one more question coming out. There's an unofficial Android one, I know that, but is that coming up soon? That was one of the promises of the Kickstarter, if I recall.
Yep. So there are two unofficial Android apps, and they actually work quite well. We have the Lightnell in the chat room is working on the PhoneGap version of the application. It's going to be a cross-compiled mobile application to Windows, Android, and iPhone. And it's about 90% done. We have all of the code and functionality done. We have all of the design done, but they're not merged, and that's just the final step is merging the two.
That seems superficial. Just to throw them in a blender and it should be good, right? I don't know much about app development, but it sounds right to me.
I have a very serious question.
Okay.
Ask.
Have you programmed in a backdoor pipeline for the NSA?
No.
No?
No.
All right, but is anything encrypted?
Don't exercise. That's ridiculous.
Can you just check all the dirty sins that Justin likes to reward himself with?
I suppose I should program some method, very secure method of preventing such a backdoor pipeline. I've not made preventative measures.
Do you know how many of your users are installing Habit RPG locally and using it that way? I'm assuming it's a minority, but
you mean the actual web
it's open source as you mentioned, and it's possible to put on your own computer.
Right. I would assume all of the 4 are installing them locally, which is about 200. Yeah, it's not that much.
Oh, okay.
234, and I get questions every once in a while about, hey, it's not working locally, XYZ. How do I do this? And oh no, here we go. I do see people forget to update the configuration setting to email themselves when they get an error on deploy. So I get all the email errors when somebody fails to deploy it on their own servers.
Well, that's one metric. Yeah.
Which is about once every 3 days or something like that.
Okay, so not that bad. Thanks so much for joining us for the chat. If you'd like to hang around and just talk about technology news, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely,
and I'm going to let everyone in the chat room know that if you have more questions about Habit RPG, put them there and I'll direct them to Tyler as they come up. Cool. Dave, have anything to say to summarize the interview? I think that's your job. Summarize the interview for us.
Habit RPG helps habits. Summarize.
Done.
Consider that summed.
Okay, we talked last week about how Hulu was going to be purchased by DirecTV and immediately made evil. Well, it seems like that's being put off for at least a while more. Hulu's owners, which I believe is a conglomerate of NBC, Fox, and ABC, they've decided not to sell. They're going to invest about $750 million more into it. So good news for cord cutters. Hulu's not going away anytime soon. Yay. James,
still,
I know
still owned by evil companies, though. Just different.
Well, but it's the evil. It's a different evil company. It's not an evil company.
It's a group of evil companies.
Wait, so who's it owned by now?
Owned by the. Okay, so we have these things called TV channels here. It's like the BBC, except privately owned.
Oh.
And it's 3 of them.
3 of
right
them.
now. It's ABC, which is owned by Disney. Fox, which is owned by your beloved Rupert Murdoch, and NBC, which was GE. I think it's actually owned by Comcast now, so that's probably a dark side.
And some other companies wanted to buy them. What?
Yeah, including DirecTV, and mostly companies that charge people to subscribe for television. So the idea was they'd buy it and immediately tie it to cable. Like you need to have cable to use Hulu, was the fear. So it looks like that's not happening now. So positive step. But I think we established in weeks past that neither of you really use Hulu, so we don't have to linger on this too much, but it's good news, I think. You can now claim the Yahoo ID you always wanted. Yahoo opens up pre-registration as it gets rid of all the old accounts. James, did you put this here?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It's you know how when you sign up for a service, you've got all these old usernames and people don't use them anymore, so they've decided to open them up.
Because they've just
got an
made
inactive
it.
Account.
When an account disappears, it's gone forever. Correct.
Yeah, but of course you've got the problem that a Yahoo ID is an email address, right? So you're going to be getting this other person's email if it's still coming to them, and they're trying to solve this by inventing a new email header, which is only going to require every email service on Earth to sign up and make it work, right? They're basically trying to change email. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know what's going on there.
Dirk Digler in the comments is saying, this is the second time the Hulu sale has been canceled in 3 years, so is it just that the bids have never lived up to expectations? Yeah, I think more or less. And there's concerns that if the people buy it, they might just shut it down, but I think really just not enough money for the party. I mean, the 3 parties have put so much into it at this point to try to invent the future of video, and it's not paying off the way they thought, I think. Yeah.
Poor them.
So that's an interesting strategy. Do you think people are desperate for Yahoo IDs?
Apparently.
I think Yahoo is desperate for people to be desperate for Yahoo IDs.
I mean, how are you going to use the cool service Yahoo just bought and is destined to shut down without the Yahoo ID of your choice? That's my question.
I think it's a nice little PR stunt. It doesn't sound like much more, though.
Here we are covering it. Thanks for adding that to the headline. Moving right along, live pandas. Why are you watching this show? You could be watching live pandas right now. You know what? New tab. Listen to us, live pandas over here.
I'm going to do that.
I've had
a link to the pandas right here. Yeah, there you go. I did an outline. And it was a brilliant brainstorm. I realized that my wife just watches live animals when she's stuck in the lab late at night because it makes her feel somewhat connected to the outside world beyond lasers and laser pumps and all of mirrors and adjustments and stuff. So she just will have like some kind of bird or something open. So I compiled the biggest list I could. There's a link to the article here. We've got a direct link to the pandas. Check it out in the outline if you haven't yet. Watching animals is just awesome.
Oh, they're asleep right now. We only get clips. That's very sad.
Well, it's night in China. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can watch them later.
Can you watch red
they're
pandas?
So cute. Look at them.
I have not found a red panda stream. Believe me.
Well, then I don't want to watch it. Get it out of here.
I love how... Yeah, we had a controversy a few weeks back. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Tyler. Red pandas are the cutest creatures.
I listened to that podcast and I completely agree. They're the
red pandas cutest.
There
we go.
In the entire world.
James, you're outnumbered here. You're losing. There was actually a pretty epic email thread about this. We talked about... Oh, we were talking about what's his name? Snowden for a while, and then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what's really important? Pandas. Cutest panda. Red. Done. And it got heated, the panda part, not the Snowden part. But ultimately, I think people were convinced by the truth, which is that red pandas are the cutest on the face of the planet. If you disagree, leave a comment, but proving that you're wrong by doing this. Okay, so here's a fun one for you. The Japanese government created a Google group in order to collaborate on some private issues that they'd rather not do in public, but they forgot to click the private button, meaning that anyone could go to their Google group and read everything they were emailing to themselves. Click the private button, guys. It's not that hard. Remember that if you're going to discuss your world domination plans, James.
Mine are all set to private, thanks.
The NSA scandal is driving a record number of users to DuckDuckGo. I like to think it was us talking about it that did that, right, James?
Yep.
Yeah, that's totally what happened, even though what we were commenting on is that more people were using it. So I've got an interesting question, though, because the NSA is also getting information directly from ISPs, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going into the underground cables, right? So it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. DuckDuckGo doesn't encrypt anything, so
but
this is kind of pointless.
It's peace of mind. It makes people feel like they're at least doing something to cover their ass, you know? Even if they're not.
I like the way Tina wrote an article this week about how to get away from the NSA spying on your stuff, and the conclusion was basically, you can't, sorry.
You can't.
you can't.
I'm saying, dude, Postal Service. They're legally not allowed to open your mail. Postal Service. Though I did find this week that they're scanning the to and from on every letter. So don't leave a return address if you really want to do that. This is getting more and more complicated. You could deliver flash drives of data to other people individually. I'll put the flash drive in the Postal Service.
There's a word for that. It's like sneakernet or something, isn't it?
For putting the flash drive in the Postal Service?
For like carrying a flash drive of stuff to people.
There's a word for that? It's just
sneakernet. I think it is sneakernet. Yeah.
Sneakernet? Actually, XKCD a while ago had a question about, like, at what rate of data is sending a hard drive to someone in the mail faster than transferring it, and they figured it out. It's actually not as high as you'd think, because once you get into terabytes of information, it takes forever to do it over the web, so at that point you might as well just send a drive in the mail, right?
Yeah.
So it is a legit thing people do, yeah.
The backup companies do it, don't they? I think, what do I have backing up? I got a couple of backups, but you can send them a hard disk of your data as to like pre-populate the backup. It's awesome.
And they'll just and then it syncs from there.
Yeah, and then it just does
guys.
The differences and stuff.
Anonymous is claiming in the comments to control Edward Snowden. I don't know what's going on there. And yeah. Someone is angry at you, Tyler, for agreeing with me about the pandas.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Controversial opinions here about pandas. People who don't like pandas dislike them a lot. I believe it was Erez, make use of writer, in the email thread who said koalas were the cutest creatures, to which our resident Australian, Angela, said, have you seen a koala up close? You're just wrong.
Wait, Angela's Australian?
She's Australian living in France, yeah. Pretty much everyone but you, Dave, is from one country and lives in another. James, you count because you've lived in Japan.
Yeah, I totally count.
Yeah, but
no, let's think about
there now.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We're all displaced internally, though. I'm a Canadian.
Didn't Dave move like 3 miles down the road? That was.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It was. Hey. It was
like to the next town.
It was like 45 minutes down the road, which would be like across England, all right, in your little tiny ass country.
Tyler, if you didn't know, I've never met anyone I work with that make use of face-to-face. The whole site is web-based completely.
Really?
We're based out of the UK, technically, but I believe, well, we don't have a managing editor right now. I don't know where Beck lives. It seems to rotate between Russia, the UK, and occasionally somewhere else. Kyrgyzstan, yeah.
So everybody here works at Make Use of.
Yeah, we all work at Make Use of. Yep. I'm a writer and I edit the manuals. James here runs the site basically. He's our coder. Yeah, he's the tech guy. Oh. And Dave writes far too much about video games.
And I run
about video games.
And I run the gaming section. Stop taking away my titles, motherfucker.
Yeah, that means you edit your own articles mostly, Dave.
And Dave Perhaps.
I control all the gaming articles, which only I write.
Yeah.
And
hey, I wrote one last week. Dave gave me feedback. It wasn't completely useless. Yeah.
Does Habit RPG come under gaming? I don't know.
No, that would probably be Psychit's area. That'd be internet.
No.
Yeah, it was Psychit that edited it. So Psychit's in India. Yeah, we're all scattered. I don't know how many of us have actually met face to face.
But what Justin doesn't know is I sit outside his window on many nights and I just stare at him. But he doesn't know that yet. Oh shit!
That's damn impressive because I am 3. And there's no convenient place to sit.
There's when you can levitate.
Well, there you go. See, I didn't know that part of the equation here.
So, Justin, you're not from this country?
I am not. I am from Canada.
Oh, wow.
Just barely. A Niagara. So
America Junior.
Far. America Junior. Nice.
He's from the hat of America.
Are we both UK Junior? Isn't that how that works?
You're kind of France Junior too, but yeah, I guess.
No. They lost a war.
You're French Canadian. They got all that stuff going. Anyway, why are we talking about geography?
Because geography and weather are the true topics of this podcast.
Let's talk about school topics that no one likes.
School topics that no one likes. Yeah, apparently, new college students love the idea of majoring in science and math until they find out that those subjects are hard. This definitely resonates with my college experience. I was not a science major, and it's hard as the science people. I'm just saying, like, my life was pretty relaxed, and those people were always freaking out. What did you major in, James?
I did artificial intelligence, and I nearly failed it because of the 2 math courses I had to take in like speech recognition stuff, and it was horrible.
The article we're linking to here is on Slashdot. You can check it out in the description. It basically concludes that high schools just aren't getting people ready for the level of difficulty that you're going to run into if you take a science or a math course. But for some reason, humanities is fine. I don't know what that says. Are we focusing too much on humanities at the high school level, or are humanities courses just significantly easier? Tyler, do you know? Solve everything for us, please.
I don't know.
I did pure math at school, and it still did my head in. I just didn't get it.
And I think maybe part of it is a culture of people who aren't used to working hard.
I just wanted to make cool robots, and they kept jamming math down my throat. I was like, no, robots, please.
I have a friend who's a math major, or who graduated a math degree, and another one who graduated a physics degree. So I always tell them both that they're insane for actually making it through school with both of those, because those are two just, I don't know, I couldn't imagine. I hate math, so there you go. I'm the example of this article, except I don't even like it in theory. I just hate it in theory and in existence. So there you go.
Light Null in the comments is saying, "Duck Duck NSA, can I get my backups, please? My PC crashed." Very clever. Yeah, thanks for that. What were you going to say, Tyler? Sorry.
I studied computer science, and there was a comic poster in the computer science department. It was like this girl. She's just like, yet another day I haven't used calculus. There's something interesting about this.
Why do people complain about calculus? Was it that hard?
I never took it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Calculus seems hard.
Physicists use it a lot. I know that. So maybe it all depends where you end up. So.
What is calculus? Tyler,
that's
do
a good
you
question.
know?
Tyler, what's calculus?
It's physics math, so it actually is quite. I shouldn't say that. It actually is quite pertinent to computers. People who go into game dev, especially, do a lot of physics engine development. So calculus and trig are both very handy in computer world.
Well, there you go.
There you go. See, done. Learn your calculus, kids. If you want to
make
your own
physics,
RPG.
When you get that physics engine in Habit RPG, you'll be ready now.
When is that coming out, by the way? It's based on 16-bit RPGs, so I'm expecting it to be awesome physics engine. That's what made Chrono Trigger so good, was the physics engine.
Presumably it's going to upgrade to 32-bit at some point.
Doubt it. 16-bit.
The Habit RPG 32X edition, you plug it into the top of your computer and then put the card.
Oh, that would be awesome.
If a game needs more than 16 bits, are we really interested in it? I mean,
then it's all about the storyline. Like, just have a game.
Yeah. So here's an interesting article James added to it, and I say it's interesting because I wrote it. 4 things you didn't. Basically tried to point out to the broader internet that BitTorrent itself is absolutely legal. It's just using it to download things that are illegal. That's illegal. So, yeah. James, is there a particular reason you threw this in here?
Yeah, I thought it was important because we forever get people who think that BitTorrent is a way to get yourself arrested. Exemplified in the comments, for example.
Yeah.
I still have the unnerving feeling that chills me to the bone. I can't get it out of my head that using this protocol is illegal and would result in imprisonment and/or loss of my dwelling.
Yeah, but a protocol can't be illegal. It's like making HTTP illegal. It's madness to think that. The point I made in the article that I'm proudest of is saying you downloaded Game of Thrones from BitTorrent is literally like saying you dug up some dirt from Shovel. It's not a place you can get stuff from. It's a tool you can use to get stuff from other people, right? But BitTorrent, the protocol is perfectly legal, and BitTorrent Inc., the company that runs uTorrent, BitTorrent Sync, and a number of other projects, I think they set up Twitter. They use BitTorrent to sync their platform basically out to all their different servers. So there's lots of perfectly legal applications for it.
That doesn't really work for things like, say, when they sued Kazaa or LimeWire or
but Kazaa
whatever
was
we
more
had back in the day.
centralized. Kazaa and LimeWire were far more centralized.
Sure, they were centralized, but they were still a protocol, basically.
Sort of, but they had a lot more direct control. Basically, if BitTorrent Inc. stopped existing tomorrow, BitTorrent, the protocol, would live on. Do you kind of get the distinction? Like, it lives independent.
No, I do.
Kazaa, once the servers were shut down, it didn't. It really doesn't exist anymore, right? It's not, So that's kind of the distinction there.
Well, I'm waiting for someone to sue the internet.
To sue the internet, yeah.
HTTP, yeah.
What's that old man a couple weeks ago? Without the internet, then with it. If you think that's true, don't leave a comment because you're not online, and as such, can't get into touch with us. Physics of Bitcoin. What is going on in that? I'm not even going to try to dig into that. You guys don't.
There's a video. I've got to click on it. I've got to click on the link.
It's something about maths and looking around you or something.
It's a British video. It's BBC making fun of themselves about math.
It's 8 minutes long though. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I remember that screen.
James, is it math or maths?
Maths.
Plural.
Okay, you make fun of English-isms or Americanisms all the time. How do you justify that? Maths.
Mathematics. It's the shortening of mathematics, not mathematic.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! You're wrong again.
Okay, but it sounds stupid.
Oh, it sounds stupid. You know what sounds stupid? When I hear someone say math.
No, it's math, dude.
Yeah, there's just one math. The entire way is math.
Wrong. Let's move on to the gaming news, the part of this show where Dave actually talks a little bit. Dave, what do we got this week?
I don't know. James put all these stories up.
Oh my goodness!
You're an awesome gaming editor, Dave. Seriously.
So no, but I do. I know. Thankfully, I happen to know the stories because I know everything, so it's all right. So if you
Tyler,
Xbox,
I would love to say this isn't normal. It totally is.
Microsoft's trying to compete with Sony by giving out free games, but unfortunately they're giving out some old-ass games that nobody really wants to play. So
wait, hang on. I've never played Assassin's Creed 2.
Dude, it's like a 4-year-old game.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I've ever played it, but surely, is it worth me downloading? Is it actually good?
Yes. Oh, no, it's awesome.
Hey, Dave, not everyone has played every game ever. I don't know how you people...
Well, what the hell then? Yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool, isn't it?
But the point is, PlayStation Plus gives games that are, like, not 4 years old. They give out games that are, like, 6-8 months old. Like, they're still relevant to people who actually play video games regularly.
Really?
Okay.
So, anyway...
So your criticism is they're not giving away nice enough things.
Yes. Well, I mean, they ain't giving away shit. I've been paying them $60 a year for the last 7 years to access internet on their console. I've been paying Sony $50 a year for 1 year, and I've gotten, like, I think somebody did the math and figured out it was like $1,200 worth of free games from PlayStation Plus or something like that.
If you want,
I gotta get PlayStation.
Free stuff, Sony's who to go with. Okay.
$50 a year for free stuff, but yeah.
If you're an Xbox user and you don't away from being an Xbox user, this is nice. Competition means you now get Assassin's Creed 2. So there you go.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Free. But yeah, if you haven't played it, you really should play Assassin's Creed 2 because it's really good.
Okay, so
this
news
is
in the
James's
console wars.
This is James's bitch about something Microsoft's doing. I think he's bitching about it, but it sounds like a good thing to me. So I don't know, James. Explain why this is bad.
Make use of Overlord in the comments says, "Surprise, surprise! James hasn't played a game."
What? So look, you remember when the Xbox One was started with that whole online DRM thing, and then they took it away because gamers complained on Reddit, whatever, and they read Reddit, and now there's been a petition started by other gamers to bring back the some of the features that they killed off by killing online DRM.
Family sharing.
Yeah, so now they're kind of listening to that and hinting that family sharing could possibly return.
Okay.
But family sharing is a good thing. It lets you share digital copies of your games that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Oh no, I completely. We talked about this last week. I agree. We need online DRM. Actually, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't agree with them taking
the way you made it sound. You made it sound like you thought family sharing was bad. I'm like, family sharing sounds good.
I think
they're
just assuming
James thinks it's bad because he always thinks it's bad.
Well, he thinks
in this case,
bad.
yeah.
I think it's bad that they're being fickle. Like, if you want Microsoft to do something now, all you just have to do is petition them or moan about it on Reddit. And
wait, are you saying that the broader internet is making conflicting arguments that don't have an internal consistency? Is that?
And Microsoft is actually listening to them. Just shut up and do what you want. It'll work. Just, you know. Sometimes you just have to go with a gut feeling and ignore what these whiny Reddit users say.
I remember Make Use of a few years ago. We had a poll, like asking people, "Hey, what do you want? What would you like our site to do more?" And about half the comments were, "There's not enough Mac articles," and the other half were, "There are too many Mac articles. Get this crap out of my feed." You know, like there's at a certain point you just can't make everyone happy. That's just kind of how it is.
I mean, imagine if Apple listened to everybody's bitching. The MacBook would cost $100 and the iPhone would be free, and you know there would be Android. Yeah. Installed on iPhones,
and it would have a USB port out the back so people can use their flash drives and
people don't know what they want. You just make shit and then they'll buy it. That's how you do it.
There you go. So I'm assuming James put this here because I don't usually say stuff like this. America is stupid. They have given out 5-year visas for League of Legends players. Geez, did no one tell them it's an online game? Well, no. Major League video game playing is becoming a thing, and they do have to get visas. And
honestly, really, 5-year visas for coming and playing League of Legends? Is this what we've devolved to?
It's no different than giving a visa out to somebody
really?
To come play
Seriously,
basketball.
A 5-year visa for someone who's coming to the UK just to play football?
Yeah, what's the difference?
I think that's stupid
is that what we've devolved
What are you talking about? That's
you think that's
dumb.
stupid? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Just like League of Legends.
Yeah, that stupid people support.
Bear in mind, when you're talking about League of Legends, you got to remember that is the biggest video game in the entire world. Like, I think they had at one point like 5 million people online playing that game at one minute.
Isn't it the same as Dota or what?
It's the same genre as Dota, but it's infinitely more popular than Dota.
Wait, what genre is that? Like one single person?
It's called. I mean,
what?
they call them MOBAs.
Tyler, this is usually the part where I have no idea what's going on, and I'm
a little bit lost myself.
I let them talk a little. Yeah, I don't
know Tyler's a gamer.
Yeah.
All right, so
sorry about this.
Anyway,
what do you play, Tyler?
I'm not I haven't played a console game since Super Nintendo. No, 64. So
well,
64.
Dota's a PC game, so there you go. Get on it.
Oh, cool.
Do you play things on the PC then, or what?
Last game I played was Guild Wars. But I've just
wait, Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2?
2.
Oh, okay. I said that's a throwback. Guild Wars 1.
I mean, but if you played a video game, you'd have even more red things in your dailies list.
Exactly.
That wouldn't. Yeah, that's not going to be helpful.
I could call it study for gamification and make it a daily.
Yeah, there you go. Then you can make it a positive habit.
Gaming your own system.
Let's move right along to the listener feedback part of the show, the part where we hear from you what you want us to talk about, and then we talk about it. That's more or less the format, right, Dave?
That's the rumor. I don't know.
That's the rumor, okay.
I usually just make fun of them, so I don't know.
At Pierre Letopo gave us this article. Basically, a guy who loves Apple, he's a hardcore Apple fan, was using Safari to watch pornography, and he's suing Apple, saying that Apple has enabled his negative porn viewing habit. Apple clearly has not responded to this yet. Pierre Le Topo says it's just another case of I have an addiction, let's go sue. But suing someone, that's just ridiculous on its face, and I don't think we should give him any more attention. To give him more attention, here is James. James, what's your take?
What? On what?
Oh, never mind.
Oh my God. So, James, apparently, his Apple fanboyism actually blocked that out because it was negative against Apple.
What
so
the hell
even
are you
hear it.
about?
The story we were just talking about.
What were you talking about?
We're still talking about League of Legends, James.
Oh, come on.
What do you think about League of Legends?
You're where we get paid to do this now, right?
Far more interesting than you.
Oh.
I think this story is interesting. It's like the lady who
you're busy talking about how professional athletes are stupid. Look, if you're the best in the world at something and there's like demand, of course you're going to make $35 million. Of course you are. That's just how the economy works. If you don't like it, you've got a problem with capitalism, nothing else.
I do have a problem with capitalism. I'm glad we...
Well, you know what? It's the absolute worst system, except for every other system we've tried. Something better. Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what should replace capitalism.
If we didn't have capitalism, would this guy be able to sue Apple for watching porno?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case, the system's fine.
Okay. We also kept asking people for questions about Habit RPG. Our fan base, I guess, didn't know what it was. The first one I got was from you, Tyler, and you said, "Yeah, why is it so damn buggy?" So there you go. That's what we got about Habit. Unless I'm gonna check Facebook.
I was the only one that provided feedback about it.
Yeah, about that specifically. Oh man, Facebook's been going nuts.
We're rewriting it in Angular. That's the news from scratch. Angular
they
JS.
have no idea what you just said.
Angular JS. So it's will it be shinier?
It will be workier.
It'll be
workier.
Okay, you'll add some shine a little bit later. What do you think? I think stuff in here. Does the comments have anything that we want to talk about? Let us know. James, what were you thinking?
What was I thinking?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about a bit more?
Not that one, no. What did Koshi add?
Kashi here says HBO is asking Google to take down the infringing VLC media player.
Oh dear.
It's a Torrent Freak article, so I'm sure it's completely legit and not exaggerated at all.
I like their featured image they used with a skull and crossbones with the VLC like parking cone on its head.
That's awesome.
Why is their logo a parking cone, James? You would know that. That seems like the kind of thing you would know.
I don't know.
So HBO basically sent a DMCA takedown to Google saying that VLC was infringing their copyright. Now, to be fair, a lot of people downloading Game of Thrones are probably using VLC to do it, but that hardly means you can take down. Okay, so in the comments, we are proposing communism and socialism as alternatives to capitalism. Well, communism...
I think the cone icon used in VLC is a reference to the traffic cones collected by École Centrale's Networking Students Association. The cone icon design was changed from a hand-drawn low-resolution icon to a higher-resolution CGI-rendered version in 2006.
Wow, fascinating.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
So communism, I would refer you to the 20th century as a rebuttal to that one. And socialism, well, socialism doesn't replace capitalism. It kind of exists alongside it nicely.
Perhaps there's some kind of ism that hasn't been invented yet, where we don't value a single person at $35 million.
Plus, during communism, they still had professional athletes. Russia still had people playing sports for money.
Yeah. I never was quite clear on that, actually, because, yeah, they had, like, their ice hockey team.
Yeah,
but their guys could be in the Olympics because they weren't pros, because they weren't paid in money. They were just given perks, basically, like a place.
Yeah, but now everyone in the Olympics is pro anyway.
Yeah, and that means Canada can compete because all of our guys were pro. Anyways, long-standing... Drop them. But yeah, if you have Red Dead Redemption is not an alternative to capitalism. That's a video game. Wait, there's a new conversation.
It's a fantastic video game, though, by the way.
I
asked
asking
people, what's your favorite games? You can only pick one each. Dirk Diggler said Red Dead Redemption. Kashi is saying Age of Empires. Anonymous says communism, which, again, not a video game. So I think we're blurring here. Red Alert 2, Chrono Trigger. That makes sense. I'm trying to think. You took Chrono Trigger.
Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty.
And anything Zelda related, I'd say. They're all basically the same game, right? Except for Zelda 2. Zelda 2 sucked. Yep.
Seiken Densetsu.
James doesn't have a favorite video game because he doesn't play video games.
James hates video games.
Red Alert 2, you dumbass.
No, you don't have a favorite video game.
Well, I think this show possibly could not get any worse. Tyler, thanks so much for joining us. It was fun. I learned a lot about the platform. I followed you on out there, and maybe someday, if anyone here listening to Technophilia wants to join my party, get in touch with me on Twitter and we can do that.
Yeah. Give me your thingy.
Give me your
Whoa!
Give me
Whoa! You should be careful yelling that out on the internet.
Yeah. That could have disastrous consequences. So you can check out Habit RPG at habitrpg.com. Tyler has said if it's crashing for you, you can go to beta.habitrpg.com, and it should work a little better. That's the test version, right?
Yeah. Right now.
Isn't that
right
backwards, Tyler? Usually, don't betas work worse? Yeah.
Hey, I've got a to-do item to add to your list, Justin. How about buy a 20-meter Ethernet cable so you don't cut out every 20 seconds during the podcast?
There's no way it's my Wi-Fi, dude. There's no way, and I'm sorry about that. Well, I'll try plugged in next week. We'll see if it makes a difference.
Yes, we did it! Technically, yes. He's going to plug in an Ethernet cable.
Has it been cutting off that much? Maybe should I be recording the show on our end like we used to, or do you prefer just to go with the Google feed?
No, just go with Google. Just make sure you plug in. There you go. You did it again. It's your Wi-Fi, dude.
There's no way. We'll see if it makes a difference. I think you overestimate how good internet is here.
I think you overestimate how good Wi-Fi is. It sucks. Everyone knows that. Tyler, tell him it sucks.
I'm using Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's true. I think. Sadly, Justin, yours is the only one that chops out periodically.
See, I don't notice it because I'm just saying stuff. So sorry about that. We'll try to fix it next week. I think I liked it better when we were audio only and doing Skype.
I want you to put it on your thingy list, so if you don't do it, you're just going to die eventually. That sounded harsher than I thought it would.
Yeah. I like it. No, I've got really good armor, so it's not going to kill me that quickly. I'm not like Tyler here, who's only level 3. That blows my mind. That's amazing. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. If you want to subscribe to us on iTunes, please do that. We appreciate it. And reviews. Reviews are awesome. Have there been any reviews lately, Dave?
Well, product reviews?
No, reviews for the podcast.
Oh, iTunes? I don't
you don't know? I thought you were the one obsessively keeping track with them.
iTunes makes my computer run slow.
Oh, okay, so you just don't load it. Well, that makes sense. You're using a Mac.
How many did we have last time? We got 14 reviews now.
When I cut out, those are the highlights of the show, says Dirk Diggler. I don't. You're probably Dave. I'm getting the sense now. Yeah. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at JHPot. You can also follow Technophilia directly at The Technophilia. You can follow James, but you just get spam, so don't. Or you can follow Dave here at Sidox, and Tyler, you are at LEFNIRE. Does that mean something? I'm not smart enough to catch it.
No, it's very strange.
Okay.
Long story.
Yeah. Thanks so much again for joining us. And I'm really terrible at ending shows. I don't know if you noticed that. But I think we're good here. If you guys want to hang out in the comments, I could use your help, as always, to decide on the... I think I saw one earlier that I saw. And Dirk, you're wrong. Mario is awesome.
No, it's not. I think you have to read his Twitter handle backwards so it says Erinfell. What's the meaning of Erinfell?
There we go.
See, I got it.
That's new.
What's Erinfell?
So anyways, goodbye, everyone. We're now starting the unofficial part of the show where I make art. I think I'm going to go with Habit RPG, now workier than ever before. I'm a big fan of that.
Why don't you put his lame-ass level 3 guy as the...
Yeah. Can I get your
artwork?
Can I get your character?
What are you doing that's the artwork? What are you talking about? Are you just like a design?
300 by 300 icon for the show, and at the end of the show,
nice.
after the podcast part ends, I design it on share screen, and the users give feedback. It's 72, right?
By the way, you're going to have to start making art that is 1680 by 840 pixels.
That's going to be so much more. Is that what we're changing the whole site to?
Yes.
That's great news. I was just thinking.
Hey, Aaron wants. Didn't you already? I think you already answered this, but he wants to know when the Android app's coming out. But I think you answered that.
When it's done.
There's 2 unofficial Android apps if you just Google Habit RPG in the market that are actually quite functional. But the official one's coming out in the next couple weeks.
I really liked one of them because it gave me a QR. It was the first use for a QR code, and I'm a long-standing QR code skeptic, but your API keys are way too long to type.
They are, and we were trying to come up with an effective, like, 2-legged non-official OAuth because OAuth was just such a pain in the ass. Yeah. And we just couldn't come up with something fast enough, and so somebody's like, just put a QR code up there, and it'll give you the...
Wait, so the unofficial one, are you involved with it? Do you know?
No. I know the guy... actually, I missed the guy, so I went on a trip to... James, I went on a trip to England. I went to Southampton to visit the NHS as a potential candidate for using Habit for like diabetes control.
Whoa!
Cool. Yeah. So,
you're going to use Habit RPG for diabetes control?
Yeah, possibly. I probably shouldn't even say anything out loud because they may just say no.
Well, don't worry, you're live. You know that, right?
This is live, but this is not part of the podcast anymore, so you're probably relatively fine unless Kashi tweets it, which he's going to now because I said it out loud. What is wrong?
No,
the NHS never does anything that cool.
No one follows Kashi.
Don't fuck with us. That's not going to happen.
It may or may not happen. It was just getting my.
That would be awesome if it did, dude.
That would be pretty cool. That would be a nice
so
fun
cool
for you guys.
God knows British people are too fat now. Damn it,
Oh,
we're still
that's
live.
we haven't done.
What story?
Has taken. Mexico has supplanted.
Is this Photoshop or GIMP or what?
This is Photoshop. So now we need a background image. If you could get me your character.
I want to give you. Can I give Bailey?
Bailey would be great. Yeah.
So
now workier than ever before. that's pretty high quality.
Oh, it's got like a little bit of chrome on the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Bailey's character, yeah. And then I'll have to find something for the background. What? Your ringtones keep getting weirder, Jane. I'm assuming that's you, Dave.
That's me, bitch.
Those are ringtones. Those are really cool.
It's on my Mac though, but it's the mess. Yeah, it's my texting tonage.
There was one day when Dave and I discovered we were both using the coin sound independently of each other.
That's because we love each other.
Yeah, we've got a connection that James and I.
I have to make a plug to somebody I swear I'm not at all associated with, but Workflowy.
Workflowy, okay.
Workflowy. I use it for everything. It's just a hierarchical note-taking application that also functions like a to-do list. and it's got really fast keyboard navigation for finding stuff. So it's like a really good place to just organize your brain as you go along.
Is it better than Evernote?
What's that?
Is it better than Evernote?
I like it better than Evernote. Evernote is a little bit more flat. Another alternative is, I can't remember. There are a few kind of Evernote alternatives people use, but so Evernote has the flat mentality. Workflow is hierarchical, and that's the primary reason for using it, is like its mindset as a hierarchical application.
So I thought, in honor of your choice of favorite video game and your musical choice for your Kickstarter video, I would make the background to this the map from Chrono Trigger. Any objections, Tyler?
Oh, hell yeah.
There we go. Let's get that right there. Center
So
that.
good.
Yeah, there we go. Gotta make that text white.
James
Bob
is
Ross
totally
voice.
in the lower end of fat British people.
Dude, seriously, I mean, I know I'm fat, but there are levels of fat, and I'm
I'll
like,
say, I don't really see you as fat.
You're not fat.
well, maybe that's yeah, I am fat, but whatever.
Stay tuned next week.
You're not skinny, but you're not fat.
When we
You're
talk
like the
about
same
our
build
weight.
as me. You're not skinny, but not fat. You're just a blob. Is that a compliment? A blob?
No.
I don't know.
You exist.
Normal.
Okay, now I have to get. So I think I need to make Bailey a little smaller here. I like
Why don't you
the
guys
flower.
tell me
How do you get the flower? Is that just because she's? See,
She's
What?
leet sauce.
does
You
she
cut
have
out
the
again.
flower in her hair because she's an NPC? How does that work?
No, all the female characters get a flower. That's another really strong point of contention against people.
Sexist.
Yeah, they
Whether
get really
females
mad
should
about
have
that.
flowers.
Oh, they get so mad.
I could see that would probably piss Kathy off if she used it, actually. Yeah.
So we're gonna obviously remove that.
Or optional.
Yeah.
A paid update. You can remove the flower from.
I want a
Wait, so
flower too.
how would you distinguish the males and the females then?
So we're
flowers.
not going to. That was another thing. So here's a little history. We had used to be gender selection, male and female, and then people who were, didn't identify with any gender got really upset about that. So we just made it select your hair length, and it was just short or long. But because the long hair has a flower in it, it assumes female. And so we got to remove the flower.
I can put flowers in my hair. My hair's long. I'm offended that you are assuming.
I'm like, I try so hard to just take the back seat on this conversation. Oh, it's just,
I believe it, dude.
oh my god.
It can get a little crazy, but it means that people care about the product, though. It means that people, yeah. So there we go. Habit RPG now work here than ever before. You know what, Bailey? You need a shadow too. Shadows are my shortcut to making things look nice.
What
Much easier.
What about put a beard on the guy?
On Bailey? No, I'm not messing with Bailey.
No, I mean in the program.
We're gonna add like different hairstyles and beards and facial hair and just like customizations. There's actually all of it has been added. I just need to put it in the code. The artwork has been designed. I just need to code it in.
Do you do the art? I don't know if we asked this. I may have missed that.
No, we have 3 artists. Oh no, not 3. So we have original guy that made all this, made the female and male distinction was Alex Hermans, and then he got really busy with university. So now we have Leslie Lemoness on GitHub and Shane Shaners, and they both do all the artwork.
Do they make games too? Because they're very good. Very good, like 16-bit
love
style
their
artists.
Stuff. I know Leslie does not. I think Shane may be involved in some capacity for like 3D design and all that.
Are the pets also from the shared icon set that you got from a Browser Quest, or
No, so
those
the
are
only thing-
new?
The only thing from Browser Quest is the male avatars and all the weapons and armor for the male avatar. And then the new set of weapons and armor, which is on Bailey, you can see that's custom design. All the pets are custom designed. That was Shane. The mounts have been designed by just random contributors in the GitHub issue queue. This is really cool open source stuff. So I think Leslie said, "Look, we're gonna make mounts," and somebody's like, "Well, here's something to just start from. I don't know if it's like the de facto or whatever. Like, just go with it." And so like every response on that issue queue was like a new full set of the mounts converted from the pet version. It's really cool.
That's great.
Everybody was a different person who contributed back.
That's so
James,
cool.
you You should grab this, James, and put it into the interview because we suddenly are asking him more questions.
We're suddenly back on topic. You can edit that.
So when you do the final, you should just grab this little part and just plunk it right in there and extend the interview. I guess I don't know.
We got distracted from our distractions with on subject stuff. So there
we
you go. There's the art.
We should have used Habit RPG during the interview and then given ourselves points for asking questions.
For asking relevant questions. And
it would have been a lot better.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna in the comments section up the art. You guys can mess with it as you will.
Ooh, that's nice.
You like that?
What am I looking at?
I realized you were a Chrono Trigger fan, so I thought it would be fitting. That's I think my favorite SNES era RPG. Yeah. There's something about the encounters not being random that makes it so much better.
Man, I played Final Fantasy 3 again the other day, and it just, I just toss in the towel. They're like every freaking second you get encounter.
Yeah,
I don't have a copy of Chrono Trigger, and it makes me sad because they're expensive.
That's a hard one. So Tyler, if you didn't know, Dave here is a enthusiastic collector of retro games.
You can kind of see if you look behind me. You can see that's my setup where all my consoles are. Man. And then that's where my newer games are, like from PlayStation forward. And over on this wall over here is where the big shelf is with all the really old stuff.
I keep telling him he should set up the shelves so they're behind him during the show.
You know how much work that would be? There is...
Is that an entire gaming room?
Yeah, so here's...
God, I hate Americans. You have a whole room for gaming.
There's the Atari and stuff, and then you come down. There's well, this is backwards.
Whoa!
Moving it.
Yay, capitalism!
Oh my
NES,
God.
Genesis, and then SNES is here.
Well, I guess if we were in the socialist system, we could go down to the video game museum and play them all for 5 minutes, huh, James? You'd like that?
So yeah, I'm a giant video game nerd collector guy. Spend all my money on that shit.
Since you're the game specialist, you're allowed more than one favorite. Favorite game from every console or genre, or however you want to categorize it.
You mean Dave?
Dave, sorry.
I'll say James hates games.
Hey, I got a favorite from every console.
Oh, you do?
You don't even play consoles.
All right, N64, GoldenEye.
Way to start new.
Okay, so
go back a little bit.
Go back. I didn't have a console before that.
Atari, Dave.
All the Atari games kind of suck, but I guess you'd say like Pac-Man, something generic. I don't know. None of the games on Atari are really that good.
You're clearly not talking about the original Atari, are you?
The 2600, yeah, or the VCS, whatever.
No, that wasn't the original Atari.
Well, the original is like the Atari 800, like the computer.
Okay, whatever. Let's start with the post-golden era Nintendo.
So I'll say
Entertainment System.
Favorite game on Nintendo Entertainment System? Probably like Mega Man 3 or 4.
Yeah. Solid. Okay, Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, I actually like the Donkey Kong Country games a lot, which I know is probably not a very popular choice, but I think those are some of the best platformers ever.
I think that's a fantastic choice. Have you played the Wii reboot of the?
No, I don't have a Wii anymore. I sold my Wii.
It's really good, though. No, it's legit revival of that. So I
just always think of Billy Madison. It's like,
no.
Mortal Kombat's on the Sega Genesis. It is a great game.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors is another one that I absolutely love. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is the best.
Okay, Sega Genesis?
We can say Zombies Ate My Neighbors for that, since it's on both.
Okay, cool. Nintendo 64.
I don't really like very many Nintendo 64 games, to be honest. I'm not a fan of.
Go with the obvious choice then.
I guess you say Ocarina of Time, right? I mean, that's the easy one to go with.
And Smash Brothers.
Sony PlayStation 1. Yeah, Smash Brothers, classic. Sony PlayStation 1.
Metal Gear Solid.
Again, sensible. I think you are just a populist, man. There's not going to be anyone who's going to complain much about these choices. I think.
And PlayStation 2 is going to be Metal Gear Solid 2. So
there you go. Dreamcast.
What's it called? Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur.
Right.
Oh, was that on it? Oh, Soul Calibur
that was
1.
the best. That was the best version of Soul Calibur. Other than the arcade, that was the best Soul Calibur was on Dreamcast.
Okay.
We really got into that one.
GameCube. I actually, my favorite game on GameCube is really an obvious boring one. It's just Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, Super Smash Brothers. That makes sense. Oh, by the way, I forgot to talk about this during the show, but there is a fan-hacked version of Brawl. You don't even need to jailbreak your Wii.
Yeah.
That brings melee controls to Brawl, and I was gonna point this out to you, Dave. I think you should write it up.
Same physics, and you get all the, but you get to use all the Brawl characters.
Mm-hmm. And they're like.
Because a lot of people were really.
So have you been
familiar.
using it, Tyler?
I haven't used it yet, but I really want to because I'm really good at the GameCube Brawl, but I suck at the new Brawl.
So you could do like the glitch moves, like wave dashing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wave dashing and the edgehog and all that stuff.
They bring it all back. You don't even need to jailbreak. You just need to.
Those little
all you need is an SD card.
Those little mistakes were what made Melee so good. Like that's what made it actually a competitive game. Looks like wave dashing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not that good at it, but I have friends who literally. I have friends who've won big tournaments. One of them won a 1-week cruise as a prize for winning a Melee tournament. Like he's a beast.
Okay, so the fans want us to keep going. What about they're asking about PlayStation 5 and Xbox 42, which.
Well, my favorite game on PlayStation 5.
Given Xbox's numbering scheme, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's going to be Skyrim 2.
PlayStation 5 will actually be the Xbox 6, and Xbox 42 will be the PlayStation 90. So I'm gonna say
I will say this though: a new Super Mario Brothers for the Wii U 2 whoop-de-doo is highly derivative of New Super Mario Brothers for Wii. Just saying. I know it's controversial. I'm gonna put it out there.
Oh, by the way, before we go any further, I would just like to say that my favorite console is actually not a very common choice, and it's actually the Sega Master System, not the NES from the 8-bit era. So I know I'm a weirdo, but I love the Sega Master System. That was the first console I had when I was a kid. My mom got it before I was, right when I was born. So as soon as I have memories of video games, it was actually with the Master System.
I remember this.
Yeah, it's
I love
the Reddit.
your immediate reaction, James, to me having a fanboy. I want a fanboy too.
And, what I love about
all over.
The
okay.
System, though, is that all the same boxes. They're all these nice little white boxes.
I'm gonna vote that shit up.
Look at that.
Wait, which system is that? Which one is that?
The Sega Master System, the 8-bit Sega. So they're all these white boxes.
Psycho. Look at that typography. That's beautiful.
Look at that. Original Fantasy Star. That game's worse than Cheddar.
If I knew what that meant, I'd be seriously impred. Okay. Well, I think the after show is better than the show this week. We should put this first and then have the show in here. James, you're going to need to do some creative editing on this.
Sod you.
Sorry, I tried to cut it off at an hour, but all the good stuff happened after I made the art. So
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
You cut it, you splice it at the hour point before you publish it, though. So this is right. Is that what you do?
Well, the YouTube video is going to go up.
Yeah, and this is just kind of the after show, but there's some good stuff after this week. So James,
usually the after show just consists of me saying stupid things or insulting people or saying something that would jeopardize my job. That's a pretty standard after show stuff. So
yeah. No, this is different. This is way more productive. You're the
PS5
great first guest for the show here, Tyler. I'm really glad I got someone from a product I'm so enthusiastic about. I'm glad you.
I like Knife Maker's comment. Will the PS5 have an Xbox emulator? I wonder.
Is he implying the Xbox will be dead by this point?
The PS5 is Intel, right?
What?
Oh no, the PS4 is an Intel chip, I think.
Is it?
I don't know.
So in theory, it was basically a PC. So in theory, you could put an emulator
because the Xbox One
PC games in there.
Basically, they're both basically PCs. So
yeah. So maybe.
Cross your fingers.
On the show proper, and it will. James sorted out. After I'm done with the art, basically. Everything else. Do we guys have anything else? I know, no matter what we do, James, the show just seems to get to an hour and a half. We can't help it. Do you need Dave to reread the ad, seeing as I cut off every time I try?
No, you read it clean this time.
I think you got the ad okay. It was just everything else you said, no big deal.
Oh, okay.
So I used to run a podcast about web development, and it was always, I wanted to keep it to an hour, and it'd always go to an hour and a half. And I would just go through post-production and 1.5 speed it, and nobody noticed. They all just thought I was kind of a chipper, fast speaker. They were like, oh yeah, he's got a lot of energy.
That's
I didn't
awesome.
tell it.
Should we try that this week?
No.
No?
Dave comes to life in the after show. That's a good point, yeah. And I think that's where we have to edit this in, because Dave's actually like saying stuff. He always complains that there's nothing in the outline he finds interesting, but he never adds anything to the damn outline.
I added a story this week. I added one or two.
A story.
I added the one from Koshi, and I added.
You didn't really add one from Koshi then, did you? Because he added it.
I copied and pasted it into the thing.
Well done.
And I added DuckDuckGo story about the NSA.
So, Tyler, what can those of us who want to help Habit RPG but aren't like coders do to enable the project?
Be a coder. No. Just get the word out. Tweet it and start using it. Go on the GitHub issue queue. And one of the biggest things, there are kind of a lot of like workarounds, for example, that you become familiar with. For example, that newcomers don't. They say they experience these bugs, and then other people jump in the community and say, "Oh, here's how to get around it." If you lose sometimes people like lose a sword. Just this glitch in the system, and there's a restore button because of the bugs that say like essentially put your character at whatever stats he originally was at, and people don't know about that. They get really upset about their lost gear. So anyway,
so you can hang out on GitHub, help people, get involved.
Is this all built on Node.js then? Because I'm trying to learn it, and
yep, this is all Node.js.
Yeah, cool. I might download it and just look at how a complete app is done in Node.js. Because
I have another question for you.
What's that?
Have you ever considered? You know how on I don't know if you use Steam a lot, but they have like the community section, the community market where people can sell their gear.
Absolutely. So all the people that have currently designed all the art, I want them to be able to get a kickback. We haven't come up with some official construct about that yet, but I want it to be like anytime somebody purchases something that was designed by somebody else with physical money, I want them to get a kickback, and we're going to put that in somehow. But yes, cool. in the Steam fashion, we're going to follow their model as closely as possible.
You can donate to the project to turn off ads, and I couldn't help but notice that the ads were still on your page. So are you not a contributor, Tyler? What's going on?
I put them back on. I donated to make sure the e-commerce bit works, and then I put them back on to make sure the ads work.
Okay.
So you're getting
something like that. There's a remix for someone to work. There's a remix for someone to work on a chipmunk version of Technophilia. Get on that, fans.
Somebody asked what I like about Technophilia.
Good question.
I don't keep up with technical news at all, and so I like audio. I go to the gym. And I like listening to podcasts, and this is my ever since
terrible way to keep up with the news.
No, this is really good. In fact, when you sent out the Google Docs outline, and I started going through them one by one, and I was like, I got about halfway through, and I was like, I'm just gonna listen to my digest from the audio version, which is exactly what I do in the podcast form. And I'm actually a long-time user of Make Use Of. I used to do a lot of like application, compare applications kind of.
Hey, you cut off that time. That makes me feel better.
But no, I used to. I definitely have been on Make Use Of quite often.
That's awesome. I had no idea, man. I forget that people read the site. I just write for it and get paid for it, and then sometimes people read it. Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Koshi asks, what do you think about Bitcoins?
Kashi is our resident Bitcoin expert, if you didn't know. If you follow us on Facebook, you will see. Yeah. So what do you think about Bitcoins? Does Habit RPG support Bitcoins?
It does not. It should. It really should, actually.
You should add that.
That is something I'm very DDoSing. I don't know very much about Bitcoin. I really do want to know about it, but it sounds like it has a bright future, and I'm very curious.
If you want a sudden surge of press for no reason in tech blogs, just add Bitcoin donation support, and it's apparently news. Shortcut for you.
I mean, we're not making a lot of money, so I might as well just do that.
Yeah, just do it.
Just curiosity, yeah.
I keep saying. Yeah, if one random nonprofit wants attention, just add Bitcoin support. For some reason, all of a sudden, hey, look, someone likes us. And they get really excited about it, yeah. Has there ever been DDoSing? There was these jerks at MakeUseOf.com Who took the site down? Reddit took the site down. Anyone trying to take it down? You haven't really upset many people, have you?
No, it's a very happy atmosphere. I've thought about that very frequently. How we can handle DDoSing. Well, in the future, since we're moving off of Derby and onto AngularJS plus Express, and we're going to be putting Express behind, like, we'll be able to put Express on a platform that hopefully will be able to mitigate a lot of these issues, like behind a like a cloud load balancer on Amazon AWS, and then probably hosted on Heroku or something like that. So right now it is extremely vulnerable. In the near future, it will be very hardened.
Anonymous is in the chat room, right? Oh no, he left. Okay, you're fine. Oh, what's in the glass? It's a vodka, pure vodka. That's water, guys. It's 10:30 in the morning where I am. It's water. I'm done with my coffee. Knowing Justin, it will be green tea. What are you saying? I don't even really do green tea.
Are anybody?
That's interesting. You think I'm a hippie?
He's a hippie.
Yeah, you think I'm a hippie? Okay.
Are you guys? Are any of you guys alcohol fans? Like, do you have big beer aficionados amongst you, or
I am
drinkers?
in a pretty good beer town here in Boulder.
Oh yeah.
So I will have to say that, yeah, I like the microbrews. And I used to live in Michigan, which I think is even a little bit better than Colorado. Michigan has some of the best microbreweries in the world, but I really dig Avery here in town. I really like Boulder beer. There's a place called Mountain Sun on Pearl. Love it. And you can't buy their stuff bottled at all. They only sell it at the pub. So that's one of my favorites actually in town. Mountain Sun.
I brew my own wine and beer, but not because I'm particularly a fan of like micro brews or anything. I just drink too much. I can't afford it.
What do you?
Really?
I remember hearing that from a previous podcast that you brew, and I was really impressed. What styles do you brew?
It's not really. It's just like kits from the supermarket and stuff made from juice. It's pretty skanky stuff. I'm not,
So this workflowy thing, I've never heard of it before. You were plugging it just because you've been using it? Do you know someone behind it, or?
I don't know anybody behind it. I plug it because it's the one program for me that I have become obsessed with. And I've been using it for about a year, and I just sell it on everyone. I used it. Cool. So I use Emacs, which is a programming tool. And it has this thing called org mode, which is a hierarchical note-taking and to-do list application with like deadlines.
Richard Stallman, peace be upon him. Yeah, I know you.
Yes. And then so I used org mode religiously, and then somebody came out with this web application workflow, which is org mode in the web, and it fit my style so well. It's the one web application that I'm the most obsessed with ever.
Got it. And it's just integrated into everything you do. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So who maintains the Chrome extension? Because I have no idea how it works. All I know is that it kills my character if I integrate it with tomatoes.
Oh, really?
Instantly.
I use a Pomodoro application called Hugo Landini Pomodoro.
Okay.
And because HabitRPG, you can just use the API as HTTP. You can integrate shell scripts with Hugo Landini, and it'll just send pluses and minuses given certain circumstances. Start
Got
it. The Chrome extension is originally maintained by a guy named Stan Lindsay. He's in Southampton. That's the guy I went to visit in England. And also somebody else that I don't know his name, but I don't maintain it anymore.
Oh, okay, cool. It's still working more or less, but it's a little, I don't know. I get confused every time I try to configure it. Yeah. Cool. Well, we got to end some point, so we might as well end now. I should.
One more thing. I was just browsing Reddit while ignoring your guys' conversation, and I just noticed that on Wired they wrote an article of life hacks, and one of them was lie to Reddit on r/donate a pizza thing to get free pizza. What the fuck is that?
That's a life hack? That's a life hack? What?
They took the article down, so there's a screen capture of it, but what the fuck is that shit? Here's a link
terrible.
Here's a link to the Reddit thread, and then like the second.
So you just say you did something nice is the idea?
It says,
and then no.
It says hungry grift grub from the Denzians of Reddit. In their quest for karma, Redditors engage what they call random acts of pizza. Do-gooders will email gift cards for free pizza if they're sufficiently moved by someone's plight. Here are some helpful tips for turning a fake sob story into a
Oh my goodness!
That's messed up.
What the fuck is that, man?
Wait,
That's
This shit in the
was
chat
like-
room, you suck.
If it was terribly written, I would be amused by that, right? But that sounds like a professional writer. Like someone edited that to
Yeah.
make it flow well. Literally, like that. That's not
Dude.
just someone.
Damn
Hey
So-
James, I was just thanking Tyler for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. You've been a great first guest for. We've had guests in the past, but never on MakeUseOf.com. We're part of MakeUseOf now, and you're our first official guest. So thanks for getting back to me so quickly.
Heck yeah, this was a blast. If you guys ever want another chat, and I won't talk incessantly about Habit.
Yeah, cool. Well, keep in touch. Keep in touch with us about other projects you got on the go too, and we can chat about whatever.
Cool. All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, Tyler. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
James and Justin, fuck you guys as always.
We're still live!
So, when has that ever affected the shit that I say?
Commenters, you've been fantastic this week. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week. I'm gonna do my first bit of work this week.
I really should click end. Right, that's it. Goodbye.
Okay.
You're gone. Internet, go. Bye.